For me, purpose is key. So I've always known that when I use my intuitive gift, not only is there a purpose for doing it, but there's usually a tie back to the individual's purpose, whether that's my own or someone else's. If they're out of alignment with their purpose, if they're not on path or on task, the Oracle is going to just dive right in and share a really solid piece of knowledge or intel or insight to help them move, to help nudge them back onto their path. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and this is the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we are diving into all the things that are inspirational, help you to see and follow your path to purpose as a woman entrepreneur or a founder. I am here to help guide you through that process and to share with you some of the great and amazing stories that we've come upon working with our new guest. And today I'm going to take a moment, take a little side trip out and share some thoughts on some topics that I think will apply to you. Now, many of my clients go through this, so I want to share this idea of several tips, 5 exactly, tips for work-life balance. I'm asked all the time about what does it mean? How do I do it? We are working so hard as women entrepreneurs and founders, and this is a really big question I get very often. So I'm going to take a minute to talk to you about this, and I'm going to break it down into 5 simple habits that you will need in 2025 if you are focused on creating work-life balance, right? So these are things to remember if that's you. So before we go any further, I want to let you know that, of course, this is the podcast that we're helping you to increase your knowledge of what it takes to be a woman founder or an entrepreneur, to become inspired and ignite that passion again, hopefully, for making a difference in the world that started you off with becoming an entrepreneur or a founder yourself. So if you're excited about staying tuned with all the incredible guests that I'm having coming up, make sure that you stop for a second, subscribe, hit the button, like what you're seeing so we can pop to the top of your field. And as you do so, we'll make sure that you get updates about what we're doing, the next guest that we're going to have, which, by the way, we have some amazing guests coming up. So definitely stay tuned for that. And the cool thing is now that we're actually doing this together with our guests, we're giving them the opportunity to get a little insight, a little support, or alignment from the Oracle herself. So if you're interested in finding out what does that look like, definitely come back and check in for that. For now, I want to share when I ask the Oracle, what are those 5 habits that you need this year to stay in balance with your life and your work? This is what she said. So, number 1, you must be focused on your own goals. It reminds me of the idea of like when you were a kid and they said, keep your eyes on your paper. Keep your eyes on your paper. That's what she's showing me. Like, you must be focused on your own goals. There is no way through this, whatever this looks like for you, without you and what you need and desire coming to fruition. Okay. So no matter what's going on around you, that's the first step. The first step is really to remember to be focused on your own goals. They matter, especially if they're really well designed and aligned with who you are as a person. We'll talk about that more. But number 1, focus on your own goals. Okay. The second part of this, of course, this part I think is one of those moments where I want to kind of get real with you. Okay. So this is me getting real with you and being really honest about this fact that this is one of those habits that feels non-essential for a lot of people. And I had a client just today actually say something about this. And so I want to relay that to you in hopes that it helps you. And it was, we have to understand that even though some of this work that we do, these habits that we create, they might seem simple, right? Might even seem easy at first. And so we let them feel like they're really not important. And so we let them slide. Okay, let's be honest. That's me getting real with you. So this one, the second habit to really get serious about is to have a purpose-driven mindset. Have a purpose-driven mindset. Now you might be asking, like, how do I do that? Or I think I already do have a purpose-driven mindset. What does it look like? I will tell you that if you're feeling blown about by external circumstances and you can't get your footing, right? You feel like you really are just holding on by a thread, chances are you're not coming from a purpose-driven mindset. Because everything, I promise you, this has never been more clear than it is now. And it is something that O has consistently shared with me for people, which is you being on purpose is fundamental to humanity winning, right? Humanity really requires, like the universe is looking for you to be purposeful and be on purpose. So having a purpose-driven mindset means that you're actually not distracted by activities, and instead you're either inspired, right, to action by what you see outside of you in line with your own purpose. So to me, think about that. The idea of having a purpose-driven mindset isn't just fanciful, right? It is really intentionally designed so that you can do your part. If you're feeling angry or frustrated or even hopeless about what you see going around in your society this year, the call isn't to throw up your hands. It isn't even actually just to randomly fight things. It is 1,000%. I know that's not a number. You're okay. Breathe. It is completely true that if you have a purpose-driven mindset, what you're going to be focused on is what you can do to make a difference. And then if something out there triggers you or challenges you or ticks you off, that's a very good indicator that you're not in alignment. And there is a way for you to get back to that, hence the purpose-driven mindset, right? Making sure that your mental game is strong, that you're coming to anything that shows up in your life with the purpose behind it of being fulfilled in who you are and how you are and what you want to see and do in the world. So if you don't like something you're seeing, that's probably a really good indicator that it's time to reset your mind and find out for yourself what is the action you can take? How can you be driven by that purpose to make the difference you are meant to make? And it's your difference. You know, that's the key. It's your difference. So keep that in mind. That's number two. Have a purpose driven mindset. Practice that. Make that the habit. Make your intentional thought patterns each day based on that purpose driven mindset. That's number two. Okay, everybody breathe. Because I know that, again, so many people get out there and they think, oh, I feel so out of balance. I feel so banged up, right? Or maybe even beaten down. So these are really simple, easy to follow steps that I'm encouraging you to do because I know they'll make a difference. Because when I asked the Oracle, what is it that people need to do? These are the things, these are the habits, these are the ways to show up that will help the most. And if you're ready to make a big difference and you want to help people right now, I know it sounds hard and maybe even sometimes harsh to think about this, but this is how you do it. Okay. So number three is all about that. It is about the people. Oh man, are you guys ready for this? Number three is about finding a community of support. Now, the only extra thing I will say to this is make sure that the community that you are stepping into is at the vibration you want to be at, right? Don't show up right now in 2025 going low, right? Show up right now looking for the community that is going to uplift you and that you are going to feel passionate about being uplifting in, right? It's not just one way. If you're in an uplifted community, you should also be one to help uplift that community. So that means the vibration of the conversations, that the exchanges, that the comments and clarity you receive in the group should give you that uplifted feeling. So, if that's not what you're seeing in the circles you're spreading yourself in, your precious energy in, yeah, pay attention to number three, right? find an uplifted community that supports the you want to be, not the one you used to be in. And sometimes it just takes, a little bit of reflection to look back at what you're doing and who you're spending your time with and realize it's not really providing you any impetus to grow or, again, to fulfill your goals or to have that purpose-driven mindset that you're working on now, correct? So if you're actively working on that mindset piece, you need to be in engagement with, in community with others who also have a similar vibration and whose vibration is uplifting. And I know that can be challenging right now, but if you're asking how do you get this balance, how do you create the balance between your work and your life so that you do feel sustained and you do feel energized, there's your key. All right. So number 4 might seem simple, and for some of you, this habit may already be a part of what you do. And if that's so, fantastic. However, sometimes this falls away for people for a lot of reasons. But even though, or also because I am an intuitive and I do believe in God and I do believe that the universe is a spiritual place, I do practice regularly tapping in to my spiritual source. And so, number 4 is to have a deep spiritual connect, a practice, a habit, if you will, of connecting on a deep spiritual level with the universe, right? With God, with whatever your version is, fill in the blank. I have no qualms, whatever that is, but there is a reason, okay? There is a reason that that actually helps you. So take advantage of it. If you are struggling, again, with that work-life balance, if you're feeling overwhelmed, this is another thing to look at. Are you doing this? Are you regularly, consistently, and intentionally deepening your spiritual connection? All right. Now, number 5, I kind of gave you a little hint. I almost gave it away. Um, Number 5 is something that I think this year in particular, in 2025, more people are coming to the head to understand that this is a factor across the board. And for me, what I'm noticing for myself, and I've been called more and more to do, is to really tap in and express those intuitive guidances. So not only just for myself, but for my clients. I'm getting intuitive downloads for people somewhat randomly when I'm in community with them. So it's a sign for me that this energy is really up in the world and people are starting to understand it more. And so the 5th habit is to either and or, right, tap into intuitive guidance, tap into that knowingness, either on your own, through a community, or with the help of someone like myself, who's an intuitive guide, like the oracle, or a psychic, or a medium, or whatever it is, someone who will hold you, right, in the space of tapping into that divine guidance, those words, those whispers, those nudges, those visions that are going to get you on the right track, keeping you balanced, but also bringing you forward. For me, purpose is key. So I've always known that when I use my intuitive gift, not only is there a purpose for doing it, but there's usually a tie back to the individual's purpose, whether that's my own or someone else's. If they're out of alignment with their purpose, if they're not on path or on task, the oracle is going to just dive right in and share a really solid piece of knowledge or intel, I like to say, or insight to help them move, to help nudge them back onto their path. Because ultimately, that's what I'm here to do, help people find and follow their path, right? To become abundant, to become wealthy, prosperous, hopeful, alive, right? And definitely to be in balance and aligned with who they are and what they're meant to be doing here in the world. So if you are someone, like I said in the beginning, if you're someone who's felt like you're just having a hard time kind of getting back to balance, your life or your work, or feeling like they're pulling you apart, or just the world in general, These are really simple, straightforward ways for you to come back to balance, to come back to center. Okay? So again, number one, focus on your goals. Stop looking at other people's papers. Number two, make sure that you are starting with a purpose-driven mindset when you are continuing to build or grow or change or do anything in the world, either interact with people, come from a purpose. Have your mindset that way. Okay. Start there. Of course, number three, get a good community. Make sure that the people in your flock, right, that you're flying at the same level, that you're in this high vibe vibration, and that the people around you are there to help uplift you and that you're there to uplift them as well. Make sure you're staying in a deep spiritual connection to whatever version of your source you tap into. Just make sure that becomes a habit, that it is part and parcel of your day. And lastly, if you really want to take it even further and you want to feel clarity of purpose and next steps, then I highly recommend that you work with and or gain insight from someone who has an intuitive gift, like myself as the Oracle, or even to just develop your own intuitive gift so that you understand it and you can hear it and take action when you're given that guidance. All right. Thanks so much for watching today. This was just a short little something I wanted to share with you. We'll be doing this regularly so you can get some more insight from O about some of these important topics in our lives as women entrepreneurs and founders. And if you, again, want to find out more about what it means to live a limitless life of purpose and prosperity as a woman founder and entrepreneur, please come back. Make sure you subscribe below, and we'll see you next time. Again, I'm Leah Dunlap, and this is the Oracle on Purpose podcast.